Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturgio and Chris Gucci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode and edition of the Mojo Market Report, coming to you live from Chop Studios right here in Matawan, New Jersey. It is May the 17th. I had to look down for that one because I'm lost track of days. It is just insane around these parts of the woods. And but we're here, and it's just me, Dave Sturgio, today. Solo mission here on a Wednesday. A lot to get into because obviously sports, they just keep on delivering, right? They just keep on delivering these storylines that you just love to get invested in. And speaking of investing, if you want to do that, the only way to do that is if you download the Mojo app right now. And of course, that's available on iTunes, the Apple Store, and Google Play. Did I get that right? iTunes makes no sense because it's actually not music. It's a podcast. So go check that out as well. And like I said, download that right now. All you green texters out there, which, again, I have a hard time trusting you people. But, again, it's available for you guys to go explore. They have everything. They have NFL, MLB, the NBA. There's more coming. There's just they're in the lab. They're in the lab constantly, 24 hours, 365. It is just insane over there. I've been to the Mojo headquarters. The place is great. You're greeted with smiles and everything like that. So it's all good over there. And let's just get into the sports, right? Let's get into what was going down last night. We can start in the MLB because I understand that there's a lot of basketball to be had and talk about because the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets went at game one last night. But before we get there, got to talk a little baseball here because yesterday – I don't remember. Me and Chris had a different show later on in the day where we talked a little bit about the cheating that might have been happening with Aaron Judge, and I think we touched on it a little bit in this show. It kind of got debunked already. Like, nobody's really going crazy about it. Nobody's saying anything about it anymore. There was a look, right? If you look at my eyes right now on this show, that's all it was. It was a quick little glance, right, to the dugout, in which was he getting a signal? More than likely, yes. But guess what? That's not illegal in the world of baseball. Sign stealing is part of the game. There is some kind of gamesmanship where Chris said it best. Do better. Don't tip your pitches. Don't every time you stand a certain way on the mound, the fastball's coming, or every time you make a certain reaction with your shoulders, here comes the hanging slider, right? Whatever the case may be, Judge took advantage of it a couple nights ago. Last night, the Yes Network with the biggest flex of all time. Okay. Aaron Judge in another Yankee win, a big win, because we'll get into why there was such a struggle bus to begin with. But Aaron Judge delivers again, and the Yes Network literally zoomed in on the man's pupils to make sure, hey, guess what? There's no peeking this time, and he went yard ski, an absolute bomb in which he delivered, and I think it broke the maple leaf in center field. That's how long of a home run this was. Aaron Judge is, to me, and again, as a Yankee fan, yeah, you're excited about it, and you might say this just because you're a Yankee fan. I think he's the best player in baseball. I really do. And this is going beyond Ohtani. This is going beyond the Trouts of the world. Anybody else you would consider younger and maybe on the rise, I'm sure they'll all be really good down the line. But Aaron Judge right now is one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid player in baseball. But he's just delivering night after night. Now, the Yankees got into a little bit of a sticky situation in the beginning. Domingo Germán was asked to have his hands checked after an inning or before an inning, and he was tossed. So that means he will be suspending or serving a 10-game suspension, much like the crosstown rival Mets, a crosstown team, New York Mets, had to deal with Max Scherzer. Now, from everything that I saw with Domingo Germán, it looked like he took the glob of chew that these guys are. I don't do the chew thing. I don't do the dip, but it looks like he took it out, threw it out, never wiped off his hands. Now, is that dumb? Yeah, it's dumb. Just wash your damn hands and get yourself clean. Did he think maybe he can get away with it? Sure. But it seems to me that this Yankees and Blue Jays, not only just this series, but it seems like they're becoming the new nuance. They're becoming the new Red Sox. And I don't want to discredit the Red Sox. I know, again, they're on the rebuild, I guess. I don't even know if you consider that. But when I look at this team, and I look at the Toronto Blue Jays as assembled right now, I think they have a good chance to be the Yankees, in there with the Yankees at the very end. The Yankees have went out publicly and say, don't give up on us yet. And I don't think anybody has. I don't think anybody's like, well, the Yankees stink. It's never going to fix itself. There's a lot of injuries that they're battling with. Stanton's still not in the lineup. Rodon hasn't seen the mound yet. Severino just had a start last night for Somerset, so he'll be on the way back. They just got Aaron Judge back. They just got Bader back. So I think if you just kind of pump the brakes a little bit, the Yankees are going to be just fine. And they're in a division where I think a lot of these teams might be playing over their heads, much like the Tampa Bay Rays with their $76 million payroll, which, by the way, didn't have a problem beating up a $300+ million payroll last night. Verlander, again. And by the way, before I forget, Judge is up 2% in a week. So if you're an investor in Aaron Judge, he's still raking. He doesn't have enough bank value yet for you to be like, well, I don't know if he's going to move it all. This dude could surpass numbers that we don't even know exist on the Mojo market. But the Mets, Verlander, his debut, his first night as a starting pitcher for the Mets on his home field. He gets rocked, rocked. And he's dropped just 0.4% overnight. But if you're looking for a guy to invest in, and this is almost like the story of like if you were to invest in Tom Brady last year. You knew it was at the tail end. You knew that he was on his way out. You knew that even if he did play another year or comes back next year or whatever the case may be, you knew that the bank value was there. He had all his success. And now it's like, okay, how much more can you possibly get out of this guy? What the Mets did is they did it twice, back-to-back years. They bring in Max Scherzer for last year. They bring in Verlander this year. Very, very old pitching. And when old pitching starts early and they start breaking down early, you're going to have a long summer. And I'm not trying to discredit the Mets or the Mets fan base because I know there's a lot out there. My father's a Mets fan. So it's not like, they're out there. And I don't know if they got ahead of themselves a couple years back. They started saying we own the city, blah, 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 blah. It's a New York is a Mets town. I don't know if you got ahead of yourself because now you guys look like a dumpster fire, and I don't know where the fix is. I don't know. They're a relatively healthy team. Alonso put one in the stands last night, but it was like one of those irrelevant A-Rod type home runs where like the Yankees would be up 9-0, and all of a sudden A-Rod would hit a grand slam. They're up 13. You know what I mean? So like last night they're down big. Alonso puts them on the board. They get a 2-run shot, but he can't do this all himself. And I know they're a young team, so like let's be patient, I guess. But, I mean, the Mets are struggling right now, and you would hope for the city's sake that they get back to relevant baseball, get over 500, get back in the race. But the team's ahead of them, man. They're all playing very well right now. And that's the same thing, same story for the Yankees. Everybody ahead of the Yankees right now are playing well, but the Yankees have to do themselves some favors when they split with Tampa and they beat up on Toronto. Today, they got Garrett Cole on the mound, so let's see if we can just kind of really wipe these guys out. But it seems to be a little bit of a bickering rivalry now. You got guys yelling about positions of coaches on the box and the coaches' box. Boone's been tossed like every night last week, it feels like. So they're fighting, they're scrapping, and I think there's a chance that the Yankees actually turn this around, relatively quick. So that's the baseball of all this. Now we shift on over to last night to the NBA Western Conference Finals. And let me tell you something. I watched this game. And typically now that there's only, two series left, they're not going to start them at 10 o'clock at night, so I can actually get invested at 8 o'clock or 8:30, whenever they want to tip off, and the game will be over by 11. So that's like a normal person's schedule, right? So last night, it got ugly fast. And what me and Chris have been discussing is that if this Nuggets team keeps playing the way they're playing, I don't care who's across the court, it's going to be hard to stop them. Now, the Joker, Jokic, he's on another level. The man had a double-double within the first 9 minutes of the game. I'm not even exaggerating that. Like, that's literally what happened. They got off to a really good start. Watching this guy facilitate, too, as a big is pretty astounding. Like, the way he finds guys, and again, he's taller, so maybe he has a line of sight over. I don't know. But what I'm saying is the way this guy passes the rock is fantastic. And the way he rebounds most of his own misses to flush home. The stat line on this guy yesterday was 34, 21, and 14. Like, there's no stopping that. You don't have an answer. I saw Anthony Davis try to provide the answer. And don't get me wrong, Anthony Davis, 40-point burger. He put up a 40 burger, and between him and LeBron, they both had a double-double. The Lakers played well in the second half. They dominated the second half, actually. But when you put yourself in that hole early, it's a matter of time before they just put the nail in the coffin towards the end. Now, I know it's a 6-point win, so it's not like it's a catastrophic blowout. But remember, by halftime, there was a lot of people on Twitter saying, whoa, like, I don't know if even LeBron, year 20 LeBron, and I'll be the first one to tell you that I kind of like the old horse doing his thing and teaching these young kids how to play the game of basketball. I like that. So I'm rooting. I mean, my interest is in the Lakers to get to the finals. And I know there's a million people like, oh, this guy's a Cowboys, Lakers. No, I'm a Knicks fan. Everybody knows that. So I'm a struggling, depressed Knicks fan, okay? So I'm watching LeBron do this in year 20, and the numbers that he put up this year are just stupid. They're just absolutely stupid. And I think that the dude is at his A game when Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, and the rest of the team last night contributing. Much like the next series that's going to start tonight. The Heat are playing the Celtics, starts in Boston. What we've seen Jason Tatum do throughout the course of this playoffs, specifically in the last few games of that 76er series, is nuts. What we've seen him do and score in bunches and turn it on when he absolutely needed to turn it on, he did just that. And I don't know if the Heat have an answer for that, because if you look at Tatum, hold on. If you look at Tatum and the way he plays, I don't know if the Knicks have a Tatum. You would think that's Brunson, maybe. Different roles. But I mean, like a guy that can kind of score on demand. Brunson turned into that throughout the course. Randall sure as hell did not. But when I'm looking at a guy like Jason Tatum, along with Jaylen Brown, and along with the supporting cast over there, the Heat, when Jimmy Butler is on, he's on. I want the Heat to win. I want the Heat to win this series, and I want the Heat to ultimately win the title. So I can at least say that the Knicks got bounced, but they got bounced by the champs. Like, it's all good, right? But if the Heat gets sparked by the Celtics, it's going to make that Knicks series look just so much worse. It's just so much worse. But when I look at this series as a whole, as it starts tonight, what I've seen the Heat be able to pull off as of late is the fact that they have role players behind Jimmy Butler. And when those guys are on, that team scores in bunches as well. So it's a matter of who's going to put, there's going to be somebody just drawing a blank here, Butler. There's going to be somebody on Jimmy Butler the entire time, right? And there was a time where I said, well, if you take Jimmy Butler out of the equation, they don't stand a chance. And it was the role players on the Heat that when they got hot, they got icy, just white hot, And I think that if they could do that one time in Boston, this is going to be a series. Boston, historically, in recent memory, I know what they just delivered against the 76ers in Game 7, but they have not been that good. They have not been that good at home, which is nuts because you think of like at Boston, TD Garden. Is it still TD Garden? I don't even know. When they're home, Boston is a very passionate city when their teams are good. The Patriots are rocking for a while, and obviously the Red Sox were winning their World Series early on in the 2000s and just being competitive up until the last couple of years. Nobody really knows what happened there. How about not trade away all your stars? But when you look at the Celtics, I just think that they have a way better team. They're one of the better teams in the conference for a reason. The path that the Heat have taken, knocking off the Bucks, taking the Knicks to 6. They're probably a little weathered right now. They're probably a little gassed, but it'll be close, man. I listen. I like the Celtics to win tonight. I do. So if you want to do a money line bet over there on the Mojo Market, you can. Don't take my advice as gospel. That's the sauce's job. That's our boy Kyle. He does all the picks. But I will take Boston at home tonight because I think, like I said, I think they will deliver on their home court. But don't write off Jimmy just yet, because if you remember, when the Knicks were celebrating after taking Game 2, Jimmy Butler didn't even play, and he's looking around, he's starting to smile, smirk. He's like, "Don't worry, I got you guys." You know what I mean? So I think that if Miami can pick one off, then this series is going to be a series. If Boston just goes batshit nuts on them, I don't think it's going to be a series at all. I think Boston will continue to play the way they play. So again, Lakers last night dominated first half. They came back, made a little bit of a surge, played very, very well down the stretch, but not enough. AD played great. We'll see how that plays out. We'll preview that Game 2 tomorrow. But again, Game 1 tonight of the Eastern Conference Finals goes down tonight. Do we have any NFL? We do. We do have actually some NFL nuggets. So yesterday, I'm a big social media guy. In case anybody doesn't know, you can find me at Dave Sturchio on Twitter. I stumbled across something yesterday that I found very interesting. The Minnesota Vikings, who, if you look at that team as a whole, last year lost in the playoffs to the New York Giants. They're probably having a really nasty taste in their mouth. They had a historically bad defense. On the offensive side of the ball, Kirk Cousins has always been a serviceable, stat-driven dude. Has he had a lot of success? No, he hasn't. But when you add a Addison to your roster, you lost Adam Thielen, obviously, to Carolina. But now you add an Addison, Osborne, and, of course, one of the best in the game right now, Justin Jefferson, Jay Jetta himself. You might be looking at this team like this could be an air raid team. Now, why do I say air raid? Because who's going to be running the football? Now, this is where I bring this up. Last night, the Minnesota Vikings just nonchalantly changed their Twitter banner. The players featured on the Twitter banner were Justin Jefferson, was Kirk Cousins, and in the left-hand corner, they had their running back. But it wasn't Dalvin Cook. It was Alexander Mattison. And Alexander Mattison right now is $6.68 over there on Mojo Market Report, Mojo Market app. Chris next to me said that dude was going to be his steal of all dynasty drafts if that happens. If Dalvin Cook is outright cut and won't take a pay cut. Like, I don't know if this was the right move for the Vikings to just kind of get a little petty here. And you know that Dalvin Cook was tagged or told about or whatever. That's going to get ugly, okay? Because Dalvin Cook is still a very, very, very good running back in this league. I understand that nobody wants to pay these running backs anymore, which is crazy to me. Because me growing up, I understand the game has changed and it's air-driven and Mahomes is throwing for 9,000 yards a year, right? But back in my day, which, ain't that long ago, running the football to establish the run was such a big pivotal part of every offense. No matter what, even if you had a great quarterback who could sling it around, even if you had that guy, the Aaron Rodgers of the world, even if the Aaron Rodgers was throwing the ball around for Green Bay, they still had some kind of resemblance of a running game, even in the Mike McCarthy era, right? So, and then you segue over to Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, you have something. For the Vikings to just part ways with Dalvin Cook, I think it's a mistake. We've seen Madison in small spurts, and he's good. He's a serviceable 2. Is he a 1? I don't know if you want to throw him into the fire like that. And if you do, how much of a setback is that for the Minnesota offense, honestly? Because you got to establish the run. If you don't have to sell out for the run, you're not going to stack the box for Alexander Mattison. So you got to hope Kirk Cousins is pinpoint accurate because they're going to have double coverage all over the place, especially on Jefferson. So, interesting note and nugget because, again, you got to be careful and weary of these things because you never know. You never know. If he's cut out right. Now, possible landing spots for Dalvin Cook? I don't know. I really don't know. Because, to me, Dalvin Cook could sign tomorrow. If he's cut, he's scooped. He's not like the Ezekiel Elliott type where people think there's wear and tear on the guy's legs and he's not as good anymore and this, that, and the third, right? So I'm not sure of the market for a Zeke, but I damn well sure the market for a Dalvin Cook. In fact, truth be told, you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys roster right now. Tony Pollard coming off injury. They do some work in the draft. They draft Deuce Vaughn, right? But, let's call it how it is. They can use a veteran running back, and I'm still banging on the door for Ezekiel Elliott to make a comeback to Dallas, even in a smaller role. But if Dalvin Cook's available, you gotta jump on that. And the Giants could potentially jump on that if Saquon keeps playing hardball. Saquon Barkley reportedly turned down $14 million a year. How do you turn that down when you know the running back market is so just depleting right now? You're not going to make the same money you once made. What you made now in that first contract back then when Zeke got paid, McCaffrey got paid, Aaron Jones got paid, all these guys got paid. Those days are over. We're watching and we're seeing the market shift in favor of not paying your running back because you can have 4 guys behind them making that combined in salary. And that's the truth. And that's the unfortunate truth for star running backs looking for that next payday. That's why guys like Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, these guys are expendable. Leonard Fournette was just pretty much kicked to the streets. Ezekiel Elliott, those guys were let go. And they're just, look, man, we got Pollard, making $10 million. And next year, guess what? They're going to have Deuce Vaughn making the league minimum. He's not on every down back, but you know what I'm saying? Like, they have guys that could be serviceable running backs. And that's a problem for these star running backs who think they're going to get paid. The Giants, if I'm the Giants right now, I'm telling you right now what I would do. I would rescind the franchise tag. You could do that. I would say, you know what? The hell with you. Go ahead. Go get what you can get. Go nuts. I guarantee you 1,000%, as good as Saquon Barkley could be when he's healthy, he will not sniff the top of the running back market at this point in juncture right now. You need to run to the office of the Giants, which you could find in East Rutherford, sign your franchise tag, play the $10 million, and earn yourself another maybe 11 or 12 a year going forward with a heavy guarantee. You're not going to see the 14s, the 15s, and the 16s anymore. Those days are done. They got quarterbacks making $1 trillion now. They got offensive linemen making crazy good money. Wide receivers are now up in the upper 20s per year. The running backs are gone. Get your money now. Get your bag. That's why Tony Pollard said, oh, yeah, I'm good. Sign that tag. Like, $10 million guaranteed. But if you're Saquon and you think you earned more, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. You couldn't stay healthy for the first couple years of your career. Last year, you propelled this Giants offense. You get yourself to the playoffs. You did well. That's great. What the Giants might look like without Saquon Barkley, though, that's a big deal. And I understand when you have to lock in your guy, like they did Daniel Jones, and paid him $40 million a year for never putting over like 30 touchdown passes in his first 3 years or whatever. Maybe he has, but I just statistically, historically, you would think no way that happened. But when you know you got your guy, specifically at the quarterback position, you got to pay what the market's asking for. Running back, different ballgame, man. Different ballgame. You are not going to be able to make that crazy good money anymore that you used to make, or what Zeke did to the running back market because he decided to go ham on his contract with all the guarantees and all those other crap. Those days are over. Good luck. Good luck. So I hope you enjoyed today's Mojo Market Report. Like I said, you could follow us right now over on the TikTok, the Instagram, and of course the Twitter machine at Mojo, Mojo. Download that app, man, because look, that's where I'm getting a lot of my information is the app. And I think for sure that they keep loading up more and more content, meaning more and more things to bet on every night. Every night there's something else. So get involved with the app. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Hopefully Chris will be back tomorrow. We'll see. We'll figure all that out. But if not, yours truly will be back to break down the Heat and the Celtics and all the baseball and all the fun stuff that goes down in the world of sports. So for Dave Sturcio, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. See you guys back here tomorrow.